In this video presentation, we're going to cover wave solder keepouts for through-hole components. If you select Preferences and go to the Terminals, Through-hole Preferences, at the very bottom of the list, there's a wave placement keepout over pad. Normally, the manufacturers require a 3mm keepout. This value is determined by the assembly shop. And the reason for the keep out is to avoid the expense of a wave solder mask on the bottom side of your board. Okay, if you keep the surface mount parts a certain distance away from the through hole pins, it will avoid wave solder bridging between the through hole pad and the surface mount pad. So that's what the use of this is for. We're going to exit and save. In the through-hole component family, let's pick one. We'll pick radial disc with offset leads and fill in some numbers. In this particular family here, you see, because I set the value in preferences, it auto-generates the wave solder keepout per the value that I sent. And the value is 3mm from the edge of the pad to the edge of the keepout. Let's select a CAD tool, and we're going to select pads layout for this demonstration. We open up our CAD tool and open up the part. And if we select the shapes, we can see that the shape is a bottom layer only, and it's a placement keepout. It's not a trace or a via or a test point keepout. It's just strictly for part placement. Also, we can move the keepouts around as they're really not associated with the pad stack or whatever. They're just putting in as drafting elements for the part. Now this feature that we have for this wave solder keepout is also applicable in the footprint designer. Let's say that we're going to build a test part here to test this out. Put in some values, and we're going to create a generic pad stack for through hole. And we'll go ahead and place it in at -7.5, and we'll repeat 3, and we'll place them at 5mm increments, add. And so you could see in FP Designer, every through hole pad, regardless of its size, placement, it'll put a wave solder keepout on those pads. Now let's say that you're using Library Expert Lite and you want the same feature. Okay, and you don't have these global preferences here like the Library Expert Pro does. We'll go back to through hole and turn this value off. So it's turned off by default. And so I would go to the through hole and I'll pick the very first component family, axial lead, and fill in some numbers. And when I want to add the placement keepout for the wave solder process, I select the terminal tab in the panel, and at the very bottom is a wave place keepout. Type in 3mm, select the OK button, and it auto generates the wave solder placement keepouts for the axial lead part or for any through hole part. That concludes our wave solder placement keepout demo.